So I know, and I'm sure you do as well, that one of the biggest concerns from a silver and gold stacker's perspective, and even a numismatic coin collector, is that the possibility that you'll run across a fake. Now, I would say that most stackers in their lifetime, in their journey through stacking, are probably going to eventually run across one. Now, I'm not saying it's going to end up in your stack. I'm not saying you're going to buy it. But, you might end up running across at least one fake silver coin in your journey, whether it's someone offers to sell you something that's way below price, and it just doesn't look right. Something, that you wanted to buy sticks to a magnet. I mean, who knows? It's too light. There's a million different things. It just doesn't look right. And so you pass on it. So it didn't end up in your stack, but you'll probably encounter it at some point. So there is a legitimate concern there because, believe it or not, there's a lot of fakes that come into the U.S. We've talked about it before. We've looked at websites, some of the online reseller websites like eBay, OfferUp, Etsy, Mercari, and others, where even though there are good, legitimate sellers on there, and the majority of people that are selling on those sites are legitimate and very good people, like anything else, there's always a little bit of bad in everything that's good, and there are those bad people on there that are trying to sell you fake coins and get away with ripping you off with fake coins. So there has been a lot of very recent instances where, fake coins have been seized or recovered. But here is a big one that we're talking about right now. In fact, this happened with the Anti-counterfeiting educational force, where they actually helped the Secret Service, along with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, seize over 40,000 silver coins with a street value of over $2 million. And we're going to talk about that in today's video. So really quick, guys, if you're interested in no-nonsense videos about silver stacking, gold stacking, and more, do me a favor, don't forget to go down below and subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss my future notifications. And also, make sure you check out our 50 silvers for 50,000 subscribers video that is linked in the description as well, and make sure you get yourself into that. All right, let's get into it. Okay, guys, like I said, the ACEF, or the Anti-Counterfeiting Educational Foundation, along with their Anti-Counterfeiting Task Force, was brought in by the Secret Service and the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol to go ahead and process and help them identify all of these fake silver and gold coins that they confiscated in this 2-month-long operation. And as you guys can see by this image right here, there's tons of packages. Each one of these packages contain anywhere from 27 to 32, I think is what the article said, fake silver and gold coins, each one of them. And I don't know where they're going. I didn't see in the article if it said where their destination was. And honestly, they probably didn't reveal that. But every one of these was fake, again, with a street value of over $2 million. Here's another image you can see. You have, I believe one of the guys is from the ACEF. The other one is a Border Patrol agent. But anyway, they're looking at, these packages just sitting in these US bins. They have tons of them all over the place, just stacked up. Huge amounts of fake coins being brought into the US. Fortunately, these all got seized. And here's an example. You got some 1934 peace dollars right here. Well, 34 and 35. But anyway, I mean, these right here, just by first glance, they don't really look bad. I mean, they do look like they've been heavily cleaned and worn. They definitely look cleaned and worn. But, we know now that these are fakes. Just looking at them, we know they're fakes. And when you hold these, there's probably, a lot more telltale signs than what you can just see in the image. But clearly, these look like there's something going on. And I would want to inspect these closer before I bought them anyway. For example, that one in the top left, it looks like there might be a little bit of pitting there above the in and in God, as well as the one in the bottom left where it looks like there's a little bit of pitting above the A and R in dollar. But again, you never know until you actually hold them in your hand. In fact, guys, what we're going to do in this video is at the end of this video, I'm going to go over some tips with you that you can use to kind of help identify fakes, things that you can do to make sure that fakes are not getting into your stacking collection. So we'll be talking about that a bit in this video. This image right here, as you can see, they have gold coins as well. So you have a $1 1850 gold piece right there. Those are more numismatic than they are gold value. Granted, they are gold coins and the gold has value, but those all go for well over numismatic, or well over gold value in their numismatic value. And as you can see, you got a 1913 2.5 Indian there. You got some other 2.5 Indians. These are all fake, every single one of them. And these are the ones that you see being sold on websites like, and again, I know most sellers on Etsy are fine, but you know, when you have the bad sellers on Etsy, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing things like this. These are coming into the US. They're getting on these websites. They're being sold to less than suspecting people, unsuspecting people, new stackers, people trying to get into stacking. And unfortunately, they will have these in their stack for who knows how long, maybe for 30 or 40 years until they move it on to their relatives or whatever after they pass. Anyway, my point is they may never know that these are fake until they try and use them. They try and cash them in at a coin shop or whatever it may be. They may never know these are fake until it's way too late. So it's really good that this was seized by the ACEF. Now, there's an article at their website you guys can go read. I'm not going to read you the article. You know, we don't read articles on this video, or on my channel, I should say. But I'm going to link that article down below if you want to read more about this specific seizure of these fake gold coins. Okay, so like I promised, we're going to go ahead and go over some of the tips, some of the things that you can use to keep some of this fake gold and silver out of your stash. Now, keep in mind that, yes, these 40,000 were seized, but there are so many more that make themselves into the US every single year. And I'm sure this 40,000 is just a percentage of how many tried to come in even this year alone. Remember, that was 40,000 that they seized in just 2 months. So that puts it on track for about 240,000 silver and gold fake coins that would have made it into the US just this year alone. If you were to multiply that number by 6, this was a 2-month operation. And in 2 months, they took over 40,000 of these off of the market with, like I said, a street value of over $2 million. So, and then another thing is, by the way, guys, I'm going to give you some tips, but remember that the ACEF, the Anti-Counterfeiting Educational Foundation, does have a website. You can go on. They have all sorts of tips on there you can use as well to help you identify and keep fake silver and gold out of your stack. Additionally, they do have a place that you can report fake gold and silver. So if you end up seeing it, whether it's online, you know, through like one of the fake sellers like Etsy, if you see it in a local shop, or if you just bought a piece and you want to share with them where you got it, they can actually help investigate and shut more of this stuff down. So that is really, really awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get into these. Now, the first one, like I said, guys, number one, always buy from trusted sources. So what I mean by that is if you're not a very seasoned stacker and you're not really good at determining whether or not what you have in your hand is real, the number one thing you can do more than anything, more than even the other 4 tips that I'll have today, is just to make sure you buy from a trusted source. Buy from somebody that you know knows exactly what they're doing, exactly what gold and silver feels like, looks like, sounds like, ways that they can test it, or just huge big dealers that, you know, source their silver, you know, directly from places like the online wholesalers that's what they do. You know, there are multi-million-dollar companies out there, probably billion-dollar companies, that would not risk their organization by putting fake silver out there. So you can always trust some of those big guys like APMEX and SD Bullion, as well as, you know, your local coin shops where there's like a dealer who's been in it his entire life and he knows how to spot that fake stuff. So if you're not a seasoned stacker, always buy from trusted sources is the number one thing you can always do to protect yourself. Number 2, keep in mind that if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So what I mean by that is, you guys know this, you know this. If someone's trying to sell you a Silver Eagle for $20 and silver's trading for $28, we know the premiums on Silver Eagles are even higher, bank them higher than that. That's probably fake. And I'm not saying it's always going to be the case. There are going to be those very few minuscule amount of cases where it's going to be a seller that just doesn't know what it's worth, and or it's just going to be someone who's trying to get rid of it. So maybe if silver's 28 and they're like, man, I have all this silver. If you want to buy it for 27, take it. Maybe, you know, that might be a situation. But the majority of situations is going to be if it's too good to be true. So if it's from someone that's shady and it's way too cheap, or if it's from one of these online sites, for example, Etsy, where it's $20 for a proof Silver Eagle, it's probably fake, because it's, you know, if it's too good to be true, like I said, you know, it probably is. Next up, guys, physical inspection. So what I mean by physical inspection is, as you become more seasoned of a stacker, there are a lot of things that are telltale signs to being fake coins. Now, a lot of the poured, like the pot metal fake coins, you know, of course, they are going to have pits and things like that in them. There's going to be weight differences. So if you're used to holding Silver Eagles, if you've held a lot of Silver Eagles in your hand and you hold a fake one that doesn't feel right, it doesn't weigh right, you know, believe it or not, you can actually feel the difference in weight and density when you're holding a Silver Eagle versus a fake one. Even if it's only off by 1/10 of an ounce, you can actually feel that if you really look, if you do it a lot. I've actually held coins that were off by 1/10 of an ounce, you know, for a full ounce, and I could tell right away it was fake. It just didn't feel right. It didn't look right. And so physical inspection is always going to be important. And that goes into size and weight. So like I said, with the physical inspection, when you talk about, produced coins like Silver Eagles, like government produced coins, I should say, like Silver Eagles, Maple Leafs, Cougarans, they all have an exact diameter, an exact thickness, and an exact weight. So you can get a pair of calipers and you can actually determine whether or not your coin is going to be real just by the fact that if, for example, silver is more dense than, say, copper. So if it's copper, then when you put the copper coin under the calipers, the thickness might be off or the diameter might be off. And so the size and the weight of the coin is going to make a big difference. For them to make the coin be the exact diameter and the exact same weight, it may have to be a little bit lighter. So in that case, you would weigh it, and that would tell you, again, if it's if it's real or not, just by size and weight. But unfortunately, that does not work for silver rounds and silver bars because they can have different thicknesses, diameters, weight. That doesn't work very well for things that don't have a precise number, a precise thickness, like, eagles and maples, etc. And then finally, if you're still unsure, even after the tips that I've given you, even after all the stuff you've ever learned, if something just doesn't feel right, and you have no way to test it, so you don't have a sound tester, well, even a sound tester really isn't infallible, but it's really good. But if you don't have a good way to test it and feel 100% confident, if something just doesn't feel right, just pass, because you're always going to be able to buy it somewhere else anyway. And maybe you'll spend a couple dollars more on it by going somewhere else and buying it where you feel comfortable about the purchase than you would from, say, A&B Pawn Shop, who just happens to have some Silver Eagles in their showcase for, a good price. If you don't feel right about it, if something just tells you it doesn't feel good, just pass on it. That doesn't mean it is definitely, necessarily fake, but it's always better to just feel comfortable with your purchase. So that's a big one. If it doesn't feel right, just move on and go on to the next one, because there's always more out there to buy. So anyway, guys, that is what I had for you today. Again, make sure you check out ACF online. There'll be a link in the description below. I will also link directly to this article. And again, guys, don't forget to check out our 50 silver coins for 50,000 subscribers video down in the description below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like if you guys haven't done so yet, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I did leave a video above you can check out if you haven't seen it yet. I also want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to my awesome channel supporters scrolling right there on the right hand of the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.